practice up. Today we're going to work with the shoulders a little bit. I think, it's so common for us to just scrunch our shoulders up toward our ears all the time, but especially when we're spending a lot of time on a computer and when we are stressed, when there's, things happening in our life that we tend to have reaction to, which of course everybody's got things going on, some, more challenging, some days more challenging than other days. But a lot of times, this tension that we creep up, that the traps, the upper traps to me are one of those muscle groups in the body who are game for anything. They're like, you want me to do that work? I'll do that work. I'll do that work. I'll do that work. And they can even try doing the work for the feet sometimes. It's so weird that they just will chime in for any possible action that the body needs, when really what we want the traps to do is to rest. So they are a muscle group that's involved in breathing. They shouldn't always be involved in breathing. When you're breathing regularly and not having to huff and puff up a mountain or something, the upper traps should not be the primary movers of your breathing. Really, your diaphragm and all the muscles that move your rib cage should do a better job at that. But the traps, we can have this hike up and hike down, and it especially happens when we are feeling stressed and end up being a top breather or a heightened sympathetic response in our nervous system. That cues the traps to kick in. So some of the work today is going to be about learning how to use other muscles instead of the traps to do a lot of the work for the shoulders. And to just consciously, try to let go when you're breathing. Try to notice if you tend to breathe with your traps, if your puppet strings, where your shoulders rise and fall like that when you are breathing in and out. And instead try to relax the traps and use all the other muscles that you have access to for your breathing. So let's go ahead and sit up straight and tall for a moment. And just find a comfortable seat. Come into your own. Let's transition from the day so far, whatever your day has held, and give yourself time and a little silence to come into your practice, to know that this is time for you. Take a deep, slow inhale and a long, steady exhale. Symbolically, as you exhale, let go of what's not happening right now for you. So all these things might be swirling inside your mind or body. Let's just come into this moment. Melt your face. All the little ways that you hold tension, see if you can travel there and ask your body to let go. Pay attention to your upper traps and how they feel, where they attach at the base of your skull. Can you melt? Can you allow your shoulders to drop down? Feel a sense of broadness across your collarbones. Settle the shoulder blades down a bit, like there's little tiny weights, like little pendulum weights hanging off the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Not enough to make you feel like you're leaning back or arching your low back, but just enough to remind your shoulders that they can be down instead of up. Also, let those little weights remind the back body that it's alive, that we slump often, we collapse, and the back body quiets in our awareness. So bring the back body into the consciousness. Can you feel the weight of the pelvis, the groundedness, that sense of centered base for your spine? And as you lift your spine, try not to hold tension, just find space. Use the muscles you need to and not the ones you don't. Can your breath give space to your spine? Once again, melt the face, all the ways that you hold tension in your skull. Maybe bobble around your head just a teeny bit so you can notice the base of the skull and let it go. Relax your jaw and inside your ears. Deep, full cleansing breath again. What are you releasing? What's not in this hour? What can be put off to the side until you need to pick it up again? And place your palms together at your heart. Bow in. All right, let's release the hands and come on to our back. Okay. All right, so let's lengthen through your spine as you come to lie down. Enjoy the fact that you're lying down. It's such a nice feeling to rest your body horizontal on the earth. So stretch your legs, stretch your arms, follow the natural impulses. If you want to yawn or hold your breath or squeeze, do anything that's coming naturally to you. And then take your time to feel the openness in your two sides. So stretch your right hip and foot away. Stretch your left hip and foot away. Feel the movement of your pelvis, hiking one hip up and then hiking the other hip up, how that feels in your back. Can you add the shoulders into that? And just notice, if you don't feel comfortable with your shoulders overhead, choose a different action, but still find the side bodies. And then come to cactus the arms for a moment. So bring the backs of the hands toward the floor. Elbows are bent like two goalposts. And just take an assessment here. How are your rotator cuffs today? Do you have the capacity to rest your hands on the floor or not? And, this is a good indication of whether you have tight subscapularis muscles and tight pectoralis minor muscles, which are a big portion of internal rotation. So if you tend to slouch, those muscles can get tight, and for a lot of other reasons too. So just notice if they are open enough to lay your hands down. And you can always try putting little 1 pound or 2 pound weights in your hands or hold a can of soup to help encourage the openness of these muscles if they are tight. All right, and then stretch your arms one more time, lengthening. And then bring the knees into the chest. Rock around a little bit. Feel the back body. Okay, swaying from side to side. Bring your consciousness into the back side of you. Where are you touching the earth or the mat? All right, and then let's circle the knees a few times. Just getting into the low back, the sacroiliac joints, the hips. Let this be soothing, hopefully. Okay, and then go the other way, circling your knees in the other direction. Finding the breath. All right, and then let's circle the knees away from the midline and back in. And you don't have to do full circles. You can just find any movement pattern that feels good as you open and close the knees. Just warming up the hip joints a little bit. And then stretch your right knee into your chest or out to the side, wherever's comfortable, left foot on the floor. So you're stretching that left leg long. And then roll your feet around. So wiggle your toes, roll through your ankles. See what kind of sensation you have through your ankles, your feet, your calves, your shins. And then change sides, left knee into the chest, right leg is long on the floor. Give a good squeeze, hug that knee in, and feel free to wiggle around here. So rolling through your ankles and your toes. Feel the compression in your hip joint as you extend the spine. How's your breath? Even here, are you finding that your traps want to hike up? Can you relax them down? And then bring both knees into the chest again. A little bit of rocking. Stretch open, arms and legs are wide on the floor. Expand your body, and then exhale, pick up your head, knees into your chest. A couple of more times, opening your body up. Exhale, closing your body up. One more time. feeling that whole body cat-cow feeling, maybe squeeze some muscles. Exhale, draw things in. Put your feet onto the ground, hip width apart, arms out to the side. Windshield wiper your knees left and right. Just get into the hips, the sides, the back. Just enjoy. So enjoy the subtlety of just feeling parts of your body as they begin to warm and open. And then lying down on your back, we're going to take the right arm, cross it over, straight arm, and we're going to do this on all fours in just a minute, but just get the feeling that when you cross your straight right arm over your chest and hold it with your left hand, you can drop the shoulders down and broaden the collarbones. And then come on up and change sides. Cross the left arm over. Try not to roll to the right at all. Allow some weight with your left shoulder dropping toward the floor, and experiment how high up you want your arm to be toward your chin as you open up the back side of the shoulder a little bit. All right, staying on your back for one more moment. Let's bring our arms up in the air, and we're just going to do some rolls through our wrists, just like we roll through our ankles. Let's roll through our wrists, and then feel free to wiggle around the fingers and just open up the hands and the forearms. You know, a lot of times, you know, people are starting to have a little bit more repetitive use injuries as we become more and more dependent on screens. So our hands move in very different ways than what we did, you know, 100 years ago. All right, roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so let's find all fours and start moving into some cat-cows. Arching and rounding the spine. Don't forget that you have a head and a tail attached to the spine. So make sure you're moving your head and your tail, not just the center of the spine. Make sure you're breathing. Who cares where you're inhaling and exhaling? Just keep breathing. And then start to move the pose around any way you want to move the pose around. So maybe you're rolling through your shoulders, moving your head around, moving your hips around, anything that feels nice. And then we're going to stretch back towards child's pose. Take your hips toward the heels. If you're comfortable with your arms overhead, you can do that. If they're not comfortable, you can have your arms down at your sides. All right, we're going to come up onto all fours. So this is a little different than the twists that we often warm up. We will do the twist in just a moment. Cross the right arm underneath you like you're threading the needle, but instead of twisting and dropping the shoulder down, we're going to come back toward the heels like child's pose. Square the shoulders, ribs, and pelvis toward the floor. Release your head down wherever it goes, and just feel the back side of your shoulders stretch open. So this is not always so comfortable for a lot of people, so just go where your body allows, staying within your range of motion pattern. And then inhale and come all the way up. Bring your arm out in front of you, and then lift it up in the air, open the chest, and now we'll take a further twist. So drop the shoulder, same side, drop the shoulder down, turning to the left. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Even here, can you melt the traps? All right, and then inhale. Reach that arm back in front of you. This is a nice way to treat your shoulder with a little respect if you have trouble lifting the arms straight out to the side, which a lot of people with shoulder injuries do. So if it's better for you to bring your arm in front of you and then up, that might be an easier trajectory of movement for your shoulder. Let's come into the twist. We're going to go backwards through this. So go into the full twist. Press your right hand into the floor. Open the chest. Relax your neck. Try not to let the traps do any work here. Take a breath into the back of your body. And then we're going to find ourselves right into the shoulder stretch here. So turn, come out of it a little bit, turn your chest toward the floor, sink back towards child's pose with your legs and pelvis, and allow the back side of the shoulder to stretch. So you're only going as far as your body wants to go. The collarbones are broadening. Chest is facing the floor. All right, and then go ahead and release that. Lift the arm out in front of you or out to the side, up in the air you go. Place the hand down onto the ground. Find your way into dog pose. Stretch open through your sides. Pedal out your feet here. Maybe you want to drop a heel and bend the other knee or sway the knee in so your hip can lift. So just find any movement that your body wants to wake up and open up and enjoy. You know, the cows hold a lot of strain. So let them open and then lift the sit bones. Feel the full back legs expand. Feel free to bounce, to rock, to sway, to move in any way that's helpful. With our shoulders, pull the triceps under you. Roll the biceps high. Hug the hands toward each other so the shoulders are less burdened and the torso is more burdened with weighting, holding the weight of your body. Root into the index finger mounds. Lengthen through your spine. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold in half a little bit. Relax your head. Bobble things around. Roll through your shoulders. Wag your tail. Move your head. Anything that feels good. Inhale for a halfway lift. You can use blocks if you want, or hold your legs. And then exhale and melt and relax. Soften your shoulders. Take one more time, halfway lift, shoulders away from the ears. Feel your feet lift from your arches up to your hips. Exhale and melt back down. Push off your feet, rise up, reaching to the sky. Maybe your arms don't like to be overhead, and that's okay. Cactus, open your arms if your shoulders are happy enough to do this. Okay. And then relax your arms back to the midline. Feel your feet. Interlace your hands behind your back. Open across your collarbones, bend your knees, and bring your arms away from the spine. Stretch the front of your deltoids. Relax your neck. Have some space in the back of your skull. Release the hands down to the ground. Let's step the left foot back. The right foot's coming forward. Warming up our legs. Coming into a lunge. Extend the spine. Finding your breath here. Feel the reach of the hip flexors. Reach your crown. Move your shoulders away from the ears. Make your neck like a giraffe neck, a swan neck. Feel the length. Let's start moving. Square hips. You can bow your head a little bit as your leg becomes a little straighter. Try to stay in your comfort zone so that you're not compensating by pulling your shoulders up toward your ears or rounding your back. Just notice the ways, try to pay attention when you start to creep your shoulders toward your ears. Is it a compensation pattern? Is it a breathing pattern? Is it a stress pattern? Keep moving and breathing. Relax your jaw, the base of the skull. All right, and then let's come to a lunge here. Find your breath. Go ahead and bring your hands onto your hips. Feel your lunge. Get yourself steady. Find your breath. And we're going to just do a little stretching with our arms here. So bring your arms out to the sides. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. The palms are facing up. And then we're going to point our fingers down. Open across your collarbones. Pull your arms back a little bit behind your shoulders. And then turn your palms up, pressing into two walls on either side, imaginary walls on either side. Drop the shoulders. Lift your crown. Hug into the midline with your legs. And then swing your arms in front of you. Lift them up to the ears. Drop those little weights down your shoulder blades. Lengthen up, maybe a little bit of a back bend if it feels nice in your body. And then exhale and bring your back foot forward. Come into Uttanasana. Fold in half. Let your legs neutralize. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Let's step back with your other foot. So now our left foot is forward and our right foot is back. Extending the spine, shoulders are away from the ears. So even here, do you tend to creep up? Just start noticing your patterns or when your traps take over for other muscles. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. See if those points on the bottom edge of your shoulder blades can move down toward your hips and a little bit toward the spine. Use some work in the rhomboids to give your traps a break. extending the heart, widening the collarbones. Press your feet into the floor and rise up. Come into a steady lunge. Bring your hands on your hips. Find your legs. Feel your roots. Okay? Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Melt as best as you can. While you're melting the shoulders, broaden across the chest. Broaden across the collarbones. Feel the shoulder blades. If that tends to make you pop your ribs forward, integrate your core. When you're ready, bring your arms out to the side. Stay in your lunge. Stretch from your heart to your hands. As you're ready, flip your fingertips down so the palms are up. Now our palms are facing out with our fingers down. Drop the shoulders and then turn the palms out, fingers up. Open the chest, broaden across the collarbones, integrate the ribs, integrate to the midline with your legs. Okay, and then when you're ready, swing your arms in front of you. Lift the arms to the sky, shoulder blades down. Those little weights on the bottom edge of your shoulder blades are dropping. Feel little teeny race cars, matchbox cars sliding down those muscles along your spine, downward toward the pelvis. Reach your chest open, long neck. Exhale and release the hands down onto the ground. Come onto all fours or a plank, whichever's suiting you. Okay, find the breath. So can you still keep dropping the shoulders away from the ears? Let the breath carry into the lower part of your lungs as much as possible. All right, and then put your knees down and come down to rest on the floor. Find your breath. Walk your fingers down so your fingers are in line with your nipples. Roll the shoulders a few times. So shoulders up toward the ears, up toward the sky and back. Just have some movement. And then keep them down. Integrate the core. Find your breath and lift up into cobra. It doesn't have to be huge. Elbows are bent. Exhale and come back down. Bring the arms back. Palms are facing the floor now. Back of the neck is long. Take a deep breath in. Lift the arms up off the floor. So the triceps are a little higher than the back. The heads of the arm bones lift. And then follow with the chest. The neck is long. The shoulders are away from the ears. Integrate front and back body. Stretch your legs. And then exhale and melt toward the floor. Push off onto all fours. Have a moment to feel your spine free up. So side, some cat-cow, anything that feels nice. And then eventually finding your way to dog pose. Come back down onto your knees. If you tend to have trouble with dog pose in your shoulder, first of all, you can just skip dog poses anytime you want. But let's try this movement. I'm not saying this is the only way to do dog pose, but this sometimes can be a nice check for your shoulders. Turn your hands in so that your middle fingers touch, okay? And then turn your hands out from that place. And for me, whenever I do this alignment, I'm a little bit more narrow than I tend to put my hands in dog pose. And just see when you come up what that feels like. When your arms are a little closer together, hug your hands isometrically toward each other on the floor. And just notice if there's any more space for your traps, your shoulder joints themselves. Find the breath, extend your heart up toward the pelvis. Feel free to bend your knees as much as you want. Breathe deeply. The goal here is to put some more work in your lats so that you'd have to bear less weight in the shoulder joints themselves. Let your neck relax. Try not to feel like you have to pick your head up and look at your hands. Melt it. Look at your feet. Deep breaths here. All right, let's walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Bend your knees. Feel free to wiggle and wag, including your neck. Rise all the way up. Find your breath. We're going to interlace, or don't interlace. Grab onto your right wrist with your left hand. Feel a little tug here. Not so much that you get your shoulders offline, but enough to bounce. Lift your crown, and then lift your right ear. And find that stretch happening through the top of your shoulder, your upper traps, your scalenes too. So your scalenes are your muscles that attach to the side of your neck. the vertebrae on the side of your neck all the way down to your rib, your first rib, and they lift the rib up and they help with breathing. So just let's open some of these muscles up. Feel free to move your head. You can drop your chin down and lift it back up. Take your breath and fill up the traps like you can blow up a balloon with the breath. And then come back to center. Grab onto the other wrist. Try not to pull your body out of alignment. Reach your ear up. Slide the shoulder blades down just a bit. Integrate the ribs into the body. Soften the knees. Yield your feet. Deepen your breath. Feel free to move your neck around if you want to lift your chin or drop your chin. Just stretching your upper traps. All right, and then relax that. Come to neutral. Let your arms relax. You can move your shoulders around. And then we're going to have a big shrug up. Ears up toward your ears. Relax them down one more time. Squeeze your shoulders up toward the ears. Let them go. Relax here for a moment. Take your arms out to the sides. Palms are facing up. See what you can do to integrate some platters. So we're just going to move here back and forth. So the palms are in front, and then we're going to slide the palms out. The palms are up the whole time. We're going to add some action into this in a moment, but just feel the shoulder blades, the work of the back side of the rotator cuff. As you bring your arms out, what's doing this? Try not to just let the ribs pop out to do this. Integrate the ribs. Drop the shoulders. Broaden across your collarbones. Lift your crown. Soften your knees. Yield your feet. Breathe. And feel the muscles in the back of your shoulder blades work. These tend to be very unconscious in our bodies a lot. So find those muscles. Breathe here. Bottom edges of your shoulder blades are down. And then relax. Release your arms. Wiggle them around, arms in front of you. Up to the sky. Lean back a little bit if it feels good. Big full stretch forward. Relax your head. Have some space in your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Step back to dog pose. Put your hands wherever you want them to be. So find what alignment works for your body. And then we're going to bend our knees a lot and bend your elbows out to the sides a lot. And then plug your elbows up into your shoulders. Feel the work. Where is this going? And then swing your elbows underneath a little bit, still bent, and then plug them up toward the shoulders again. Feel where there's now work that is not your traps. Okay, relax your neck. Start to straighten your elbows, relax your head, root into the index finger mounds. You can straighten your legs a little bit more too if you want. Find some new muscles. Your serratus and your lats and your side body should be kicking in here. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, lift your right leg up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot through. Come to a lunge. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Let's find a twist with our hand on our hip. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Lift your back thigh. Extend your heart. Maybe your hand comes in the air. Make your neck as long as possible. Finding the breath. Exhale and release the hands back down onto the ground. Climb up, hands onto your hips. Come into a crescent lunge. Reach your heart. Reach your crown. Find the extension of your back leg. And then we're going to, if you want, you can always lift your arms up in the air. And there's ways, if your shoulder's not happy shoulder, there's so many ways you can just back off having to do all of the big range of motion that yoga often provides for our shoulder joints. Okay, we're going to turn and open up to the side. Come into Virabhadrasana, two legs. We haven't done much to warm up the hips, so let's just take a moment. You can keep your hands on your hips for a moment and just go back and forth into this range of motion. All right, and then once you're ready to stay, remember your Vira2 can be up here. Your knee does not have to bend deeply. It can bend very deeply. Open up your arms to your platters again. So palms are up instead of down. Open your collarbones. Shoulder blades are doing a lot of work. Integrate the ribs. Feel the weight of your feet. Drop down, rise up, root to rise. The neck is long, the shoulders are down. When you're ready, bring your arms out. If it feels good, keep your shoulders down away from the ears. The palms are facing up. And then see what it feels like to only turn your wrists. So the palms are coming down toward the floor, but only because your wrists move, not because your shoulders rolled. Keep the shoulders open. Find your breath. Maybe you're turning your hand, maybe you're not. And then go ahead and straighten your leg for a moment. Bring your hands onto your hips. We're going to come into Parsva Konasana, but a slightly different way. As we come into your knee bend, place your elbow on your knee. Open across your collarbones, wide and free across your collarbones. Drop the shoulder blades down, both of them. So this underbelly arm, your right arm, tends to scooch up, your shoulder scooch up toward your ears. Drop them away. Keep the neck long. Reach the arm toward your back foot. Extend your crown and tail away from each other. When you're ready, bring the arm way in front of you like the stretch we did earlier. Graze your arm across your face and bring that arm up. Now slide your matchbook caress down those muscles along your spine. Bottom tips of your shoulder blades, both of them are moving away from the ears. Turn the palm back toward the wall behind you. Pinky is down. Extend your breath. Broaden across your ribs. Extend your spine all the way to your back heel. Extend your spine. Okay, great. And then go ahead and come on up. Turn your feet, long edge. Bring your hands to your hips for a moment. Relax your head. Dangle your head. Let it be free. Have some gravity. Maybe, this is a maybe. Interlace your hands behind the base of your skull and just feel the heels of your hands pull your skull down, just the tiniest of bits. Shoulders are still up away from the ears. And then release your arms down. Heel toe your feet in a little bit and come back to your long edge of your, or the short edge of your mat for dog pose. Lengthen through your spine. Deep breaths. Where do you want your hands to be? Swoop your triceps under, your biceps up. Hug your hands toward the midline. Feel free to bend your elbows a little bit. Integrate some muscular action in your side ribs instead of just in the shoulder joints. So what would it feel like to just lean in your shoulder joints? What does it feel like when you do that? There's no work in the torso. There's not even any work in the arms. It's just leaning into your joints. So back away from that. Scoop the elbows out to the sides and then swoop them under. Triceps under, biceps up. Index finger mounds rooting. Hug your hands toward the midline and then extend the spine. So don't lock your shoulder blades on your ribs so much that you can't glide your spine up. Deep breaths here. Neck is soft. Come forward into a plank. The neck is long, the shoulders are away from the ears. Deep breaths here. And then we're going to exhale and come all the way down to the floor. Find the way that you go down best. Relax for a moment. Bring your palms next to your ears. Your elbows are bent. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Slightly lift the heads of the arm bones away from the floor. And we're going to inhale and lift up into a no hands cobra pose. Find the shoulder blades moving down. The neck is long. Feel the back body work. Bottom tips of the shoulder blades hug toward the spine and down. Breathing. Exhale and relax. Bring your arms down at your sides. Decide how you want to be. Sometimes it feels very comforting to roll your shoulders toward the floor. Turn your head one way or the other. So turn the palms up toward the sky and feel the heads of the arm bones roll toward the floor. Just rest here for a moment. Kind of countering what we've been doing. And then let's turn the head the other way. Flip the palms down. Lift the heads of the arm bones and hug the shoulder blades.
Don't try to squeeze a pencil between your shoulder blades. So you don't want your shoulder blades necessarily just moving toward the midline. You want them moving down and toward the midline. So integrate a lot more muscular activity. Feel the difference. Everybody relax for a minute. And then just squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other, toward the center of your spine. And notice this does not relax your upper traps very much, right? And then relax, melt. Palms are facing down. We're going to do the same thing, but this time we're taking the bottom tips of the shoulder blades and hugging them on that V toward the lower spine. Feel the neck relax more. Lift the hands. Feel the integration of the back body. And then exhale and melt. Come up onto all fours. We've been on your belly for a while. Feel your neck relax. Move around, cat-cow, some swirls. Feel free to swirl your head, swirl your spine, swirl your hips. Place your hands down. Find your way to dog pose. Breathe deeply. Integrate the center back body instead of relying on the upper traps to do the work. Lift the left leg high in the air. Exhale and bring that foot forward to a lunge. Climb up, hands are on your hips again. Feel your stable place. We were on our bellies for a while, so let yourself integrate to the upright posture. Find your breath. When you're ready, we're going to bring our hand down onto the ground and find a twist. Maybe your hand stays on your hip, maybe your arm comes up in the air. And just like when we were on all fours and doing that twist, perhaps just bring your arm out. It's not so good for your shoulder, and it's easier to bring it up and around. So however you get to your twist, lift the back thigh, shoulders are down, neck is soft. Hug to the midline. And then relax your hands down onto the ground. Find your balance. Come on up. Hands on your hips. And then we're going to turn to the side for Virabhadrasana, 2 legs. So let's keep our hands on our hips for a minute and just open the hip a little bit so you can move. Decide how your knee is feeling, your hips are feeling. What is your range of motion available to you today in your pelvis? Find your breath. Find your place. So if your knee's bothering you, come high. You don't have to go real low in your lunge. And if your body is open, go as low as you want. Drop the shoulders, platters in your hands. Open them up behind you. So bring your hands back like you're serving people a drink on your platter behind you. Drop the bottom tips of the shoulder blades down and in. The neck is long. Finding your breath. And then still integrate those shoulder blades. Bring your arms out, palms are up. And then see what you can do to only turn your wrists. So the palms are changing, but the shoulders are not. So we're not internally rotating our shoulders. We're staying with our collarbones broad and our shoulder blades down. Gaze out over your hand if you want to. Deep breaths, feel your feet, feel the long spine, relax your shoulders. So instead of feeling like it has to be so much work, what can you do to melt the shoulders away from the ears? All right, let's straighten the leg for a moment. Relax your arms. As we come into Parsva Konasana, try to keep that downward energy. So when you place your elbow on your knee, try not to crunch the shoulder up. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Find the position that's best suited for you with your legs. Reach the arm down, stretch your hand toward your foot, and counteract that by reaching your crown away from your tailbone. Finding the breath, open your collarbones, shoulders away from the ears, and then slide the arm in front of you, graze over your face, and reach the arm up. Palm turns back toward the wall behind you, pinky is down, the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, both of them are rooting toward the pelvis. Deep breaths. Are both legs doing work? All right, and then go ahead and come out of the pose. Once again, turn your feet straight. Don't come down. Bring your arms out to the sides. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Lift your crown. Put some weight in your hands. Find your breath. Okay, and then relax. Bring your arms down. Rest for a moment. Relax your shoulders. Feel free to let your shoulders soften toward your ears if that's comfortable. Feel free to lift them away from the ears if that's more comfortable. Walk your hands back toward dog pose. Bring your feet back. Extend through the spine. Deep breaths in and away. I think the last time we'll come through a plank. So find your way here. Integrate. Hug toward the midline. Feel all the muscles work instead of your traps doing the work. How's your breath? And then come down onto the floor, however you safely arrive there. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Lift the heads of the arm bones. Instead of just feeling your shoulder blades squeeze toward the middle, like you're holding a pencil between your shoulder blades, drop the shoulder blades down. Take a deep breath. Lift up into locust. Legs can come up too. Breathe into your long neck. Breathe into your diaphragm. All right, and then relax and come on down. Turn your head one way or the other. Put your arms anywhere you want them to be. Just rest. Pick up your feet and rock from one side to the other. Okay, come on up. Come on to all fours. Feel child's pose at come if that's what you want. Anything that you want. Okay, you can stay on all fours. Eventually, we're going to find our way up into Uttanasana. Relax your head. Okay, rise up. Let's do a chair pose just to prepare our quads. I meant to do this earlier. So you can be with your legs together, or you can put a block between your legs, or you can have no block and your feet apart, however you decide to be. Put your arms, you don't have to have your arms up, okay? We've been doing a lot, so you can rest your arms if you want. You can cactus your arms, you can bring your arms out, you can platter your arms, anything that feels right for you. Okay? Finding the breath, just sink your weight into your feet, drop your heels back, find your breath. How's your low back? Do you have a nice neutral curve? And then go ahead and stand up. We're gonna root our weight into our right leg. Find your way. If you're dizzy, remember you can always just find your way until your blood pressure equalizes by squeezing into the midline. We're gonna ground into our right foot and cross our left leg over. You can always be against, if your balance is a little tricky, you can put your butt against a wall or against a piece of furniture to help you. Because our right leg is down and our left leg is on top, we're going to put our left arm underneath and our right arm on top. So left leg on top, right arm on top. Come into eagle pose. Drop the shoulders, open the collarbones, lift the elbows a bit and pull the elbows away from you. Keep dropping the shoulders. Squeeze to the midline. Finding the breath. Square hips and shoulders toward the front. And then unwind. Bring your legs and arms wherever you want them to be. And then rest in the middle. Close your eyes for a moment. Just feel your feet yield. Breathe. Okay, we're going to do the other side. So remember, you can always stick your butt against a support if you need it. If you hold on to something, you lose the access of the arms. So I would put your bottom against a support if you need it for balance. We're going to stand on the left leg. The right leg is lifting up and crossing over. Don't worry if your ankle can't hook. Just cross your thighs. Wherever your foot goes is great. Try not to turn your hips. Keep your hips straight. Because our right leg is on top, we're going to put our left arm on top. Cross the arms, drop the shoulders, lift the chest, broaden the collarbones. Lift the elbows, lengthen the neck, squat into your pose. Hug to the midline. Fill your breath up. Spread out your feet. Breathe deeply. Keep broadening the collarbones and opening the chest. The shoulder blades are dropping down. Feel those points on the bottom edges, hugging downward. Give a good squeeze. Open up the pose, arms and legs where you want them. Exhale and fold in half. Relax. Maybe you're going to grab onto your elbows, maybe you don't. Relax your neck. Halfway lift, extending the spine. Exhale and come down. Come onto your knees and come onto the floor. Relax your body down onto the ground. All right, so we're going to find bridge pose, but we're going to do it not with our hands interlaced behind our back. When you interlace your arms underneath your pelvis, you tend to roll the shoulders. So a nice way to keep the shoulders open for bridge pose is to have your arms down, okay? So arms are down at the ground. Instead of putting your palms toward the floor, turn the palms up. This will keep the heads of the arm bones dropping into the ground instead of rolling up. Take a deep breath and lift the pelvis. You can rock onto the tops of the shoulders, roll the shoulders under. Find your breath. The back of the neck is neutral, so don't push your neck into the floor. If anything, just the teeniest bit of weight in the back of your head. So keep your neck neutral. Find your legs. Press the backs of your hands, if you can, into the floor. At the very least, press your upper arms into the ground. Find your breathing. Big belly breaths. Relax your neck. Your neck does not have to do your breath for you. Find your belly. All right, then let's come down. Rest, unwind your shoulders. Let's turn our head to the left and then turn your head to the right. Going back and forth a couple of times each side. And then we're going to bring our legs in opposition. So legs go left, head goes right, windshield wiper the other way. All right, bring your right foot now. Have something to put your foot against, like a wall or a chair or something, for reverse pigeon pose. So left foot on a wall or on a couch or on a chair, and put your right foot on top of your left knee. So you can get just as much stretch in your hip. The closer you move your torso toward the wall, the more stretch you'll get in your hip. But when you have no arms, when you're not reaching and grabbing, your arms, your shoulders, your neck gets to have a little bit more surrender. So put your arms anywhere you want them to be as you stretch your hip. So nutate the sacrum. Lift the top of the sacrum, drop the tailbone, widen the sit bones. Relax your upper body. Your head is soft, your neck is soft, the base of your skull is relaxed. There's no need to do the pose with your traps. Your hips are totally capable of doing this without your traps. Find your breath. Notice if it's difficult to not add your traps into poses. They're such handy muscles. They're just, they just will do anything you want them to do. They're so eager. So let's compliment them for their eagerness and also tell them it's time to take a rest. Let's go ahead and release that. Put your other foot on your surface, wall, table, couch, whatever it is. Left foot on top of right knee. You might need to move closer or further depending on how flexible this hip is compared to the other hip. Your traps do not have to work. Arms can go anywhere, so put them where they're comfortable. Notate the sacrum, top of the sacrum up, tailbone down, sit bones wide. Find your breath. Okay, let's rest. Bring the knees into the chest. We're going to roll over onto our right side. Keep the knees curled on. You can always put a block underneath your head or just your arm. Grab onto your left ankle and stretch your knee back, just letting your quad open a little bit. Breathing deeply here. And relax and let the knees come back. We're going to roll over onto the other side. Support underneath your head with a blanket or a block or your arm. Grab onto your other ankle, your top ankle, and stretch your knee. Stabilize through your pelvis. And then relax. And go ahead and push up. Now you need to be on the edge of a blanket for this, or bolster or something. The higher up you go, well, just try one blanket and see how that works. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana. Okay. Still, my ankle doesn't like to do this very much, but if you're comfortable, open up your feet like this, interlace your fingers and put them underneath your pinky toes, okay? And then climb your armpit chest out. So lift your armpit chest forward, let it find the sun. Open your chest, collarbones stretch, crown lifts. Breathe. Let the hook of the hands stretch the upper traps and your scalenes. Okay, this can be difficult coming out of this, so shrug a little bit. Bring your knees in, put your elbows on your knees and bow in. Shoulders are up toward your ears now. And then relax them down and soften. Let's go ahead and we're just going to do heart bench for a moment. So grab your two blocks, low height. So one block under your head, a block between your shoulder blades on its lowest height. As we come into this posture, the shoulder blades the block is in between your shoulder blades, the other block's under your head. Now you can choose Baddha Konasana legs, so your knees can kind of come out and your feet can be together, or you can have your feet on the ground and knock your knees. You can just have neutral knees, you can straighten your legs, you can widen your legs on the floor. So whatever position your legs are happiest in. The key here is to melt your neck and shoulders. So have enough support. And if you're unhappy, if your shoulders don't like this, try putting a blanket underneath each forearm so you're not so low with your arms. Sometimes this can just ease the shoulders a little bit. So however you're comfortable in the pose, melt the top of your traps, the base of your skull. What can you do to melt there? Drop your shoulders. They do not have to do any work here. Enjoy the open chest. Enjoy how the work of the head and the work of the arms and shoulders can take the back seat to the work of the breath and the open heart. Keep peeling those layers of the onion and melting as best as you can. So the joy of doing yoga by yourself in your house is you can ignore me and just stay here for another however long if you want. But if you are ready for Shavasana, let's go ahead and bend our knees, roll off of the blocks, get them out of there, curl into a ball on your side. Take a deep breath into the back of the heart. As we come onto our back, make sure you don't roll back over onto a block. Bring your knees to your chest. Rock a little bit, just soothe the back body. Feel free to pick up the head and curl in if you want. Whatever is soothing, maybe a happy baby pose. And then let's find our way as you're ready. So take any postures you need to ease your body, and we're going to find Shavasana. If you need support underneath your knees, take it. Have a moment to maybe pick up the shoulders and slide the shoulder blades down just a teeny bit. Not so much where you feel this kind of like overextension of the heart, but just enough so that you're having some space in your neck. Then place your limbs in your most comfortable position. As you start to melt your body into the floor, focus on your limbs, let them be heavy. Let your head be heavy. See what you can do to melt the base of the skull, relaxing it into the floor. Relax your jaw. See what it feels like to melt your tongue and inside your ears. Feel your breath.
As you come out of Shavasana, first, just melt your head again, melt your limbs. Feel the full breath. And as you start to invite movement, perhaps turn your head from one side to another. Perhaps roll around your wrists or your ankles or your toes. And as you're ready, add more movement in, eventually coming onto your side. Take a breath there, relax for a moment. Let's use your arms to come up to sit as you're ready. Place your palms together at your heart. Let's open the heart. Relax your neck, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw and your tongue and your eyes. Open your heart and send your care to someone. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.